Does your business lack line of sight into the market? Are you drowning in paperwork? Is inefficient driver tracking or inconsistent routing keeping you from delivering your orders on time? Are no reasons given when your orders are not fulfilled? Welcome to mySIH in Hand, a mobile-centric platform formed off the back of the best-of-breed solutions and developed for blue-chip companies across Africa. Meet Romeo. He has a company by the name of Romeo Sales and Distribution. The company sells and delivers beverages to their customer base. Romeo Sales and Distribution has 3 employees. Mbali, the distribution manager. She runs day-to-day business activities at the warehouse. Dumisani, the sales rep. He captures orders and executes sales strategies. Bongani, the driver. He delivers and processes orders. Let's start the day with Romeo at the company's head office. He logs into the mySIH in Hand system, where he has already created his customer base, customer groups, routes, price groups, products, and product types. He reviews his operations dashboard for the previous day, as well as any time period that he chooses to analyze. The dashboard will show key KPIs which he uses to manage the business, including details such as call adherence to call cycle planning and the strike rate of calls versus orders placed. The details on the dashboard and supporting reports will help him plan his strategy for the day. Romeo is well aware that the success of the business is based on the sales generated by his sales rep, Dumisani. So once he has reviewed all of his KPI-related results, he adjusts his sales targets for the future period. He uses the call cycle management to create a call schedule for Dumisani. In addition to just generating orders, Dumisani has the added responsibility to gather information about the client whilst on the client's premises. So Romeo creates and maintains a data gathering template from under the Forms tab and publishes it from the dashboard. As soon as Dumisani logs into the system, the latest Forms template will appear as a mandatory requirement to be completed on his visit. Once this is done, Dumisani's schedule is ready. Mbali's job requires her to ensure that stock levels are always up to date and above the minimum stock levels required for day-to-day deliveries. She does this by conducting a branch stock take or count in the warehouse using the application. Once verified, she then places an order with the company supplier through the system. Dumisani starts his day by logging in to retrieve his call cycle for the day, as planned by Romeo. Once his initial login is completed, he is confident about completing his tasks for the day because the application that has been supplied to him on his Android device has full out-of-coverage capability. After arriving at his first customer, Dumisani selects the customer from his call cycle. He confirms the location and customer details, then proceeds to the information dashboard to check if there are any notes from his previous visits to this specific customer. Because his products are beverages and ideally sold cold, part of the company's strategy is to supply a cooler to brand and sell the beverages. He needs to check the status of the cooler, so he goes into the Forms tab and starts the asset verification to check on the cooler that is being rented to the site by Romeo's business. Dumisani completes the verification and begins with the form that Romeo created in the morning. He uses the form to answer questions on retail sales price, forward market share, stock availability, competitor pricing, and so on. Dumisani submits the form and he is able to move onto the Sales tab to capture an order as per the customer's needs. Before he captures the order, he checks the sales history for the customer and conducts a stock take on the products that the customer has in stock to ensure that he can recommend how much of each product the customer should order. Once that is done, he captures all the different products and quantities from the product list whilst checking for stock availability along with any returns that the customer might have. He selects the customer's preferred payment method and delivery date, then prints a quotation for the customer to confirm the order. The customer confirms that the order is correct. Dumisani then submits the order. After order submission, Dumisani checks for any future call dates in the Info tab to inform the customer of his next proposed visit. He is then ready to head to the next client. Dumisani then notices that one of their competitors is running a promotion. He uses the Take a Pic function to capture the promo and submits it for Romeo to review under the Salesforce dashboard. Whilst on his way to his next scheduled outlet, Dumisani notices a new outlet that has not been registered with the company yet. He meets the owner and introduces the company. He then successfully registers the outlet as a new prospect, pending approval from Mbali and Romeo. Meanwhile, Romeo checks on Dumisani's client visits by going into the Salesforce dashboard. He uses the dashboard to view visited routes on the map as well as the time spent at each outlet. In order to see how far Dumisani is from his next site, he clicks on the Get Location button to tag Dumisani's GPS location. Mbali goes to the van sales dashboard to plan a combined shipment for Bongani to deliver to the customers. She selects the vehicle and the driver to deliver the stock as well as each order placed. Due to the nature of the business and the history of order change requests on delivery, she takes care to add some additional spare products into the delivery vehicle, but makes sure not to exceed the load capacity of the delivery vehicle. A loading sheet is then printed for pickers to load onto the selected truck. Bongani logs in on his Android device and selects his vehicle and odometer reading. He then selects the Open Load module in order to accept the combined shipment and stock as per the shipment loaded by Mbali. Bongani then heads to his first customer. He arrives and selects the customer as displayed on the device. He confirms the GPS location and updates the customer's details. He then selects the Sales tab where he is able to process or adjust the customer's order as may be required and also collect returns. Once the order details are finalized, Bongani is able to print a clean invoice for the customer, producing 2 copies of the invoice. The first being the driver's copy for both to sign, and thereafter the customer's copy. Once the invoice is signed, cash or proof of payment is collected, or credit terms signed off against. Bongani arrives at his second customer and selects the customer on his call cycle. He then goes to the customer's order to process. The customer then asks Bongani if she could have more stock. Due to the flexibility of the system, he is able to do this by conducting a van sale. Bongani opens the van sale option on the screen and selects the products that the customer would like to buy, including the quantity. He provides the customer with an invoice, collects payment, and moves on to his next delivery. Whilst Bongani visits his customer, Mbali checks on how far he is with his deliveries by going to the Delivered tab on the van sales dashboard. Mbali can view who Bongani has visited and made deliveries to. Bongani recalls a previous delivery where he did not collect payment and proceeds to the customer whom is outside of his current route for the day. He does so easily using the out-of-cycle and cash collection modules on his device. Due to the high demand of beverages during the summer, Bongani drives back to the warehouse to conduct a top-up of products to sell whilst leaving any returns he might have collected during the day. After completing all deliveries and possible van sales, Bongani arrives at the warehouse. He checks all stock not sold from his opening stock and provides the closing odometer reading. Once this is done, Mbali checks all the stock and the returns from the combined load deliveries that Bongani made. She adds the quantities and settles the shipment stock. Romeo then settles the cash collected by Bongani and proceeds to the debtor's dashboard to allocate the deliveries, payments, and extra cash collected in order to update customer statements. Mbali logs off and goes home for the day. From the comfort of his home, Romeo decides to check all the day's deliveries, transactions, and stock take in the reports section. he accesses the system remotely using his internet connection. Satisfied with what he sees, Romeo can rest easy, knowing that his business has achieved the maximum in sales and distribution for another day. To summarize, Romeo's business is now able to manage adherence through the use of a call cycle, track sales staff movements, view KPI alignment across all system deliverables, view Salesforce productivity and time management, get real-time business intelligence, have full out-of-coverage functionality, view real-time sales data, view in-trade orders, and generate clean invoices, do distribution and logistics planning, including stock management and ordering from his supplier, and get reduced credit notes, as well as stock and driver settlements. Don't let things slip through the cracks. Make the best decision for your company and see how my solutions in hand can make every day a success.